sitting here, short blonde hair. She's going to be the new community manager. Chris Curley is no longer with us. I am not, however, going to put Karen on this account until about a month from now. So I'll be the contact person. Again, my name's Pam Hilliard, and you can reach me at philliard@associatedasset.com. 2 L's and 2 I's in my name. Or 602-906-4928. Cynthia Quillen is another area manager in my office, and she's attending today because she was at your last meeting in October, right? That you had at the church, so she came to that one, so I asked her to sit in today too. At the end is Jessica Gordon. She's taking our minutes today. And yes, we have an officer in attendance, and the reason we have an officer in attendance is because of the way the last meeting went at the church. So I'm going to ask all of you to not interrupt the board during their business. You will have an opportunity to speak by state statute on either side of an issue, a reasonable number of people, which is 3 or 4, for 2 minutes. So it's not going to be a dialogue with the board. It will be the board makes a motion, it gets seconded, the board has discussion, and then we will open it to the audience. Please be recognized before you speak. If you can't be mature, professional, respectful adults, then we will ask you to leave the meeting. And that goes for anybody, including my own staff. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to your president, Paula, and the board can introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Paula Dene.
I'm Mike Bleemaster.
I'm Randy Gallagher.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. So it's at
2:04.
2:04. So you guys want to go ahead and approve the December 2015 minutes. Everybody should have, did everybody pick up a packet?
That all the homeowners have is the agenda.
As the agenda, okay, all right. Did you guys read it? Yeah?
Yep.
Randy, did you?
Yes.
Would you like to motion to approve it?
Of the
minutes?
the minutes
Yeah.
of 2015.
You have the December one, please?
Sure. Yes.
You approve?
Yeah.
Second.
Okay.
Is there any comment from the floor? You haven't got the minutes, so there's not much for you to comment on.
Sorry.
They'll be posted on the website. Call all in favor?
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay. Financial review?
You gonna do it or you want me to do it? Briefly, you have $34,369 in your operating account. Your reserves are $76,189, and you have due to reserves from operating $250. And then prior management company still has $16.37. These financials are on your website, by the way. And on the postcard, I have the information for the website, so you can all access the financials. The minutes will also be put up there once they're approved. You have collection fees payable of $250, prepaid assessment. You have $34,669 in operating. As of the end of January, $34,021.95 of that is prepaid for February's assessment. So you're running right on what your income is every month. The next page of the financial is your budget comparison. Budget was not approved until February. It's been input into actually it hasn't been approved at all. It was A1, A2 that was approved. This one is on the agenda to be approved tonight, so there is no budget numbers in here. Hopefully it'll be approved today. And then that will be updated for February. It'll have the correct information in it. Those again are on the community website. Just wanted to let you know that there are $11,072.13 due to the association in assessments. And I can't tell you how far back that goes, but 7,600 of it is over 90 days old. Then there's the $34,021.95 in prepaid assessments. Do you have any questions on the financials at this point?
No.
Is there a
Motion to approve?
Second.
No, she called for the motion.
Motion. Good.
Yes.
Second?
Second.
Second. Okay.
From the floor.
From the floor?
Any comments?
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
So the next one, the agenda is the 2016 budget for approval.
So if you'd like, we went over your history the best we could with the records we got from the prior management company. And we've gone over this with the board on the phone a couple of times. Assessments did go up to $34. The board did move on a phone conference call in January to raise that. We've got administrative expenses totaling $57,467 for the year. Legal fees general, $1,770 a month, and legal fees collection, $500 a month. Those are the biggest expenses. Out of those administrative, they include meeting and community social expense, which is $5,000 for the year. Postage and copies, bank charges, CPA services, because you guys are required to have a full audit every year for your documents. Legal collections, legal general insurance, which is $10,800 for the year. Property taxes, which are minimal, we put $120 in the budget, taxes, licenses, and fees, and incomes for state tax filing, which is $50. So then we have your utilities. Electric is budgeted $2,100 for the year. Water and sewer are budgeted at $26,800 for the year. Total utilities $28,900. Repairs and maintenance, we have weed control, common area maintenance, irrigation repair, tree trimming and removal, fertilizer, backflow inspections, landscape, other, pest control, plant replacement, granite replenishment, and wall repair for a total of $29,125. In granite, we have we have $2,000. In plant replacement, we have $3,000. And then the other big one was landscape other in the event of storm damage, $3,500 and $1,500. And then tree trimming of $2,500. The others are minor expenses. Tree trimming of $2,500 and $5,000, $10,000 for the year. Contract services, you have landscape contract is $49,440. Management contract is $20,400. Miscellaneous contract, which would be your gate maintenance, stuff like that, of $12,000.
They don't have gates on this one.
Oh, that's right.
What's the
Miscellaneous
would be?
contract would be, maybe pest control. Do you ever have gopher treatment or anything like that out there?
Yeah, we've had rats.
Rats,
Yeah,
really bad.
so if you had any extra, if you had hired security, that would go under the maintenance contract, stuff
Okay.
like the miscellaneous.
Okay.
And then we are transferring $3,374 a month into your reserve account, which comes to $40,488 for the year.
Okay.
We didn't budget any reserve expenses because we don't have a reserve study for this community yet, so we don't know what to put in for reserve
Did
expenses.
Kachina give you anything? Cause we had ordered one and no, they still have not.
Nope, haven't got it. So does the board have any questions, want any changes to the actual budget?
No, calling Kachina about the reserve study that they supposedly started.
I had put a call into Mark Brownsville.
You did, to find out what the
I'm
deal?
waiting, right, I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Because they already started the whole process. Why is it not finished? Okay.
Yeah, I do, social events, 5,000. 300, for mailers. I mean, I think the zip code, we can get mailers cheaper.
Hang on. Let's wait. Okay, so let me get down to it. So the social event, the 5,000, what was the next one?
5,000, and we have budgeted, $300. I think we can get mailers for our community for $300.
What are you talking about?
Like cards, mailers.
Postage and copies?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we can cut that down.
That includes your coupon books for your
Sure.
monthly
I
assessments?
understand that. Okay, water and sewer, which they've been working on to get that down, which is great. I think we need to turn off the water in the NOAS's areas. If we wanna beautify the front, that's fine, water that. We need to,
Hang on, with the landscaper here, we'll address
Yeah,
that question.
yeah,
That's okay, we'll
sure.
address that question, that's
We
fine.
don't have the landscaper, do we?
Yeah, he's here,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I want him to address that
Randy,
with him.
Can you give us specifics on what you want reduced instead of just we
well,
can reduce?
reduce, there's nothing in the budget for stonework, pictures I have, view fencing that's been overgrown. There's a lot of areas in our community that need work.
What do you mean view fencing that's been overgrown?
Behind all the houses that that are on the reserves.
Okay,
I got pictures and everybody's more than welcome to see them. The city of Phoenix have said we can be 10 feet away,
fire break.
and we're in direct violation here.
Okay.
I can show you pictures.
That's okay, I
Yeah,
think it needs to be done, I don't
Yes,
disagree.
all of our, mailboxes.
I agree
in
on that too. I
community,
saw the
there's-
pictures.
There's a bunch
Yeah.
of pictures for mailboxes.
I agree.
The view fencing, I've had people talk about that, and in the CCNRs, it addresses that and
As
says
50-50.
50-50,
Okay,
correct.
can I interrupt you?
Sure.
The mailboxes will be part of your reserve study, that would be paid out of your reserve funds, not out of your operating.
Sure.
The
That's fine.
view fencing would be paid out of your reserve funds, not
Sure.
out of the operating. And you have, landscape other on here of $5,000. So we have 5,000 budgeted for other than contract items on your landscaping for like clearing a fire break, stuff like that. So there is money in here to do those
But
things.
I have the bid from ISS, they gave us a quote to
Mhm.
do the one street behind them, and we have pictures of it, it was $6,000.
Okay.
And there's a lot that needs to be done in those areas. The
You think
stone.
6,000 is too much, is that what you think?
No, I'm not, he gave a fair bid, he
Yeah.
gave his bid, we need to get more bids,
I agree.
just look
Okay.
it all over, and the wall repair is underfunded, 1,100, I got pictures of the walls that are
Right, but you know what, I saw some of those pictures that, are those people's fences, or are they, whose fences are they,
The
the
view
walls?
I cannot actually give you a pinpoint address of those, but I can.
Can you help me
Oh,
with that?
absolutely.
Because
We
if
can-
it's their responsibility, we need
Yeah,
them to pay for it,
yeah.
but if it's not, it's our responsibility.
Correct.
I agree with you.
Okay. And the wall repairs, plants, we budgeted $3,000 in our budget.
Mhm.
And what do you think?
Well, we've got a bid here, I can show you, when we get down in order, where we've got a bid for $10,000
Right.
for.
Yeah. So what do you think is realistic to add plants like that?
And where do you want me to take the money from?
Well, the problem is we're underfunded.
Correct.
And there's been a lack of doing these things that need to be done. I mean, I understand we're 6 years from bankruptcy if we don't change our ways, according to the study.
Correct.
The reserve study, so I understand that. But I got people calling and saying, why isn't this done? Is this your job? Can we do this?
So where do you think that we have the money to transfer it around so that we
Well,
can approve a budget?
Maybe we need to get a financer, hire a financer to go through all this and get it down to where we can see with our situation now, close to bankruptcy, we gave $5, which I was opposed to because I think we can cut some spending other places. $3.82 was for lawyer fees. $1.08 was to cover ADOT, because ADOT is not paying their share. They just told us.
Did they pay just recently? I thought we saw an email that
They
said
paid through December.
Okay,
From
so
what I
we
So-
understand January, February,
Yeah,
March.
and it's gonna continue on, and there's some issues that we can bring up for demolition of our homes. Whether the freeway goes through or not.
Okay.
We still have to make it look nice. So
Yeah.
this is the amount of money that we're collecting now, is that $34 a month.
Right.
So we have to have a budget in order to do it. So
And I
if we
understand
switch around, we have to be able to get the budget through. So where do you think that we could do based on the amount of money that we take in? So if you take 34 times 590 homes, that gives us what, 212 or something?
234, 820.
Okay, so, yeah, well, thank you. We're gonna have to switch around, but yes, I don't disagree that some of the things need to be taken care of, but we have to find the money in order to do it.
Right, we have to find the money, and,
Well, you can take the social budget out.
So we can
Yeah.
take that, so
We
let's
can
strike
that's
that.
35,000.
Okay, where would you like that to go?
To upkeep, that needs.
Tell me where you want it, we'll put it right there, right now.
All this, the bricks.
How do
and
we
the
get that in the budget?
mailboxes.
I
Where does
just,
that go?
I just revise it.
There we go, okay.
It's been revised, we're gonna need more than that to do all the view fencing, the trimming of the trees.
Can you tell me this, just
But
'cause-
maybe you can't do everything at once, so maybe
Right.
we do a plan.
What is actually visual to the
How
public?
is this coming off then?
You know what, I do not.
Kids
deny-
hang on them
Yeah,
and they pop off.
Yep.
It's
And
Did Chris ever
stone.
get back to you with a bid for,
He's had one bid and he didn't have, He never disclosed that, cause he was bidding 3 bids and they never got back to him.
What was the one bid?
He didn't discuss that, we didn't discuss that, cause we was gonna discuss it at 3 bids, so, you know.
No ballpark is she kinda?
No, he was gonna get back on the bids, but these,
That comes out when?
and the mailboxes, you can see where they are destroyed down in the lower
You know,
part
over
of
the
our
years, you know,
community.
these have been replaced and replaced
Oh.
and replaced and replaced. I don't know what they're gonna have to use to keep them so they stop falling out.
Well,
Well,
I guess we gotta get the
Nothing will
kids-
stop it,
No,
the
They don't,
kids
they
climb
just-
on it.
yeah,
we
kids
gotta
climb
make
on
the
it.
community aware of what, around their places where the kids are playing and ask their kids to stop climbing on them.
Right,
But a solution, if we were well-funded, we could build them basketball courts, we could do things for
but that's where the ADOT thing is that that's a trade-off, so.
the trade-off.
In other words, I said to them with that is that if you guys are gonna take this, whatever, they're gonna have to create that, it looks so overgrown to me, that's what it looks like, where the water runoff is in between the communities. I'm like, they're gonna have to pull that back, they're taking a Ramada, they're taking back all that land. So I said, if you're gonna do that, you have to have a runoff, why can't you put a park there? You
Down
got-
in the runoff, the pond.
where that mess is right now. You know, to me, it looks really messy out there. To me, that looks like a fire hazard. But I said, if you have to have a runoff, they have to have a space for that to go, right? So a park is the most common. So it looks messy already. So if they're gonna have a runoff, my thing is, okay, take that area there, if that's gonna be a drainage, and make a park so that the kids will stay off the pillars. I understand that. I totally agree with you on that. The basketball hoops, you know, all those
In
things.
some of our NOASs, they say it's government-private land, but there is no docket number to prove that. So if the
Which
real.
area? In that area?
All of the,
Or by the pump station?
all of that drainage.
Well,
The
if there's
drainage, yes.
NAOS areas, it's probably designated that on the
Well,
plan.
yeah, but there's no plat number on the sign, and we looked it up in the federal, and we cannot find a plat number.
I mean, on your community's plat, if you have areas that are NAOS, the plat should designate that.
Yeah, well.
And
they
that's
don't-
just natural, open.
Very open space.
Space,
Yeah.
It's the federal government, if they have a plat, they put their number and it's recorded. And there is no numbers on these signs that say this is a national park or whatever they wanna say.
Okay,
So,
so, but to get back to the budget, on the 5,000 from the social,
Yeah.
should we add 3,000 to the wall repair?
well, you know, what I look at is when I drive through the communities and I see this, in the views of our community, that's not good.
No,
That
so
is-
let's take the money, so if we
We
take
agree.
3 and add it to there,
I don't know if that's gonna be adequate, because there's a lot of stonework that
Common area
needs to be
maintenance,
done.
oh, the mailboxes will be on the reserves.
Right, so why don't we take the 5,000, put it in reserves, and that way we can
how about
use it
that?
for
How
the
about we take the
mailbox.
5,000, put it reserved, and
If
then we can do
that
it.
will cover it with the mailboxes and the pillars, all the
Okay,
pillars,
but-
we got tons of pillars, if you start walking where
You
the
have
You're talking about
money in
mailbox
reserves.
pillars?
mailbox pillars and the surrounding pillars that we're
Okay.
responsible for.
Let's do that, let's take, can we do it?
Okay, wait,
Can we
wait,
do that?
wait. You
Well, I
have,
think it's gonna have to be more than that.
you
to be
have
very
in your
honest.
reserve account 76,189.43. That's not to say you need to go spend it all.
Correct.
But
And
what
I
I'm
don't
saying
want-
is you need to do operating things. Your repairs to your pillars,
That's
you're
a
not gonna
one-time.
rebuild it. That's a repair, not a
Exactly.
rebuild. That's operating, not reserves.
And until we know.
Your
it's-
granite replenishment is operating.
Right, till we know what all that curtails, and I'm more than willing to go with the contractors and walk all the
Okay.
community.
The other thing is, even though there may be money, if we take it out of social and put it into common area maintenance, you can use it for any kind of repair you wanna use it for.
Right, and we have a proposal here for $10,000 for plants.
Right, and that doesn't mean you have to do all that.
Well,
planning at one
Yeah,
time.
we're not, yeah.
I really can't see us doing that when we got such a mess down below.
Yeah.
And we're all a
Yeah.
community,
I agree,
and,
we don't disagree.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's-
didn't ask for those, I think Chris asked for them, or else ISS just provided them, but
Chris asked for them.
I got them in my email, so I was like, thank you. So why don't we just move the 5,000 from social, take social out altogether, move it down to common area maintenance, and that way you can do whatever you need to do with that $5,000.
And the postage, I think we could trim a little off.
I
that.
really disagree with
Do
you.
Okay.
And the reason I'll tell you is because you've got 590 lots at $5 per coupon book.
Okay.
That's why it's the amount it's at in January. Then you've got a recall petition that's in for recalling
Correct.
board members, so that's gonna take another mailing, with a ballot and a return envelope. Then you've got your annual meeting coming up, which takes 2 mailings
Yeah.
for your annual
I-
meeting, so I don't believe we can cut your postage and copies.
Yeah, that's fine. And then our landscaping, I know what we bid the landscaping is 4,000 to do the runways. Our subcontracting is, last year, correct me if I'm wrong, it was 110,000, and we had budgeted 49,000. There was 60,000, and then what I wanna tell
For all the
everybody is our
landscaping,
past brings us
repairs,
to the future.
erosion, everything.
And what we've done in the past with our monies brings us to the future now, and that's why we're close to bankruptcy. Just because we put money in there doesn't mean we are sound. The study says.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think you're close to bankruptcy. It's
Well,
just gonna
that's what the
take some-
survey says, 6 years. If
What
we-
survey are you talking?
Foothills Reserve Masters Homeowners Association, the one we had done, excuse me, let me find it, selection of attorneys, landscaping, we're going out of
But
business. There was a study done that was 90% done last year.
the
And then when
reserve
you-
study?
Yeah, when you guys came in.
No,
and-
they weren't here last year. They
No,
were
but
for-
when they came in at the
Oh.
first of the year, you asked for a reserve study.
Right.
And it was 90% done last year, and we contacted the person that did it. If I'm wrong, correct me, please.
Mm-hmm.
And, he came back with that study. Oh, here it is. FDRS, there it is, yep. And I can read what it says there.
For one thing. That's, all they're talking about is your reserve
Right,
funds.
well, our reserve is well underfunded. That's the problem, when we should have a reserve of, healthy, we're at 53% or 43% in our reserve.
No, but here it says it's 51,000, but we have 70-some thousand.
Well, yeah, now that we haven't done any spending.
And then
that-
it says that it
That
only
was
needs.
January 7th, correct? That's when it was done, January.
This isn't a full reserve
January
study.
7th.
Is there more to this study? Cause this isn't a full reserve study.
Well, that's the information.
Yeah, I don't know what this
I haven't
is.
seen it.
Somebody did it,
I haven't seen it.
I don't.
Yeah, that's not a reserve study.
Huh?
Looking up.
Financial review.
And the study reflects a beginning balance of 51,443 and a monthly contribution of $125. On this budget, we have $3,374 a month going into your reserve account.
And this only says two,
It says $125 a month.
yeah, we have a lot more than that going in there.
So
We
we're
have
putting
3,000.
over 3,000 a month.
Yeah, since we upped our
Right,
dues because
right.
ADOT stopped.
So, do I believe you're that close to bankruptcy? Absolutely not. That's not a reserve study.
Okay, but I'm just saying, with what we're at funded in our,
And you have over 70,000 in your,
right, because we
76,000.
haven't been spending.
Right.
You know, we haven't been spending,
Right.
and that's why it's
Granted,
building.
you're right, Randy. We've got a lot of deferred maintenance to take care of out there. I agree with
Okay.
that 100%. But on the operating budget, which is what we're talking about,
Yeah, it's not.
putting 3,374 a month into your reserve is going to fund your reserve to do all that. Will you be able to do it all at one time? No, it's
No.
gonna take 2 to 3 years
I
to
think
get
they
everything
said
up to speed.
2019, if we
2
would.
to 3 years.
Yeah, we would be
Mhm.
fully funded, and that's my biggest concern, because there's communities that are 300% funded.
Dave found a reserve study.
I had it, thank you. I'm not very good with paperwork. I got other people that do that for me.
Yeah, you were
Bring
at-
it to me.
You're about halfway between what he said you were starting with to what fully funded would be.
Yeah,
He says you're 49% with your 53 starting balance, but you're at 76 starting balance. And fully funded is 107.
and that is correct, but it also states in there that I read that if you keep on the same pattern you're spending, no matter what we do, it's gonna be
But,
bumped.
but Randy,
Well, he's probably
he's
looking
only
at
got a
last year where we
50
had those 2 huge storms. It's
Right,
the only
and-
reason that we had those huge landscaping expenses, the
And he's
cleanup.
only got 1,500 a year going into
So
the
we're
reserve.
doubling that, that's great.
We're,
No, that's a
Well,
lot more
we're
than that.
$31,000
we're
off
putting
from our reserve.
40,000 into reserve this
So
year.
in 1
Yeah.
year, we should be.
Yeah, 1 year will be
One
fine.
year will be
Exactly.
fully
Yeah,
funded.
We'll be fully funded in 1 year.
The only problem with our budget was strictly the 200-year storms that we had to
Right.
clean up last year.
So I can tell you, if you wanna spend more in operating, we could reduce your reserve contribution by $1,000 a month. That'd be another 12,000 you could put toward granite or toward planting or whatever you wanna do, and you're still gonna be fully funded the year after next.
I think we need not to put planning in, we need to get bids on all the trimming behind the few fences to be in compliance with the fire and to fix the fences. I mean, I'm more than willing to walk around
Oh, I
and
agree.
show you.
Okay, so.
I'm just using that as an
So let's say
example.
this, so what you're saying is, don't plan anything else, and then repair everything we have now, and then wait till, so where are we at? We're
It'd be next
March.
year we could.
So it'd be next year, then replant, so anything that dies between now and next year, we'll just remove it, take the water emitter, and then next year, then start replanting, but in the meantime, take all the extra money and repair everything that we have, correct?
And yes, in all the view fencing, the
The
fire
cutback,
breaks.
the fire
yeah,
breaks is what
the
you're
fire
after,
breaks.
yes. As for this is a 50-50 based on CCNR,
Correct.
so how would you like to address those issues then?
Well, we had one lady that called, and, I said it was a 50-50, and
Uh-huh.
nobody got back with her, and I said, that's what it is right in the CCNRs.
Right.
We're obligated to pay that to her. If, we wanna find the best bid we can.
Yep,
And if she can
absolutely.
find the best bid, that's great.
Well,
And-
not necessarily.
Well, I mean, license.
What we'll do is we'll get bids, and then we'll get those bidding contractors to separate how much is each lot. And then we divide that in half.
Okay.
And we send a letter to those lot owners saying, on such and such a date, we're gonna start repairing and repainting view fencing. This is your portion, your account shall be billed this amount.
Correct.
Then we
And-
pay it out of reserves, as the homeowners pay it back, it goes back into the
Right,
reserves.
and we should let them know that this is what we bid, before you wanna
Sure.
go into this.
Right.
This is how much you're obligated.
Well,
So they're-
they don't have a choice.
Well, I
No,
don't want.
you can't do that, because you
Well-
can't have this house with a view lot and not have this one
Correct,
repainted.
right, I agree to compliance.
So you have to be pretty uniform and when you do it. But
It's-
yeah, we've done this on many, many communities, we do it all the time, so we know how to do
So do
it.
you have to have 100% compliance with, if you've got a row of 10 houses there?
If
all
you
10 of
don't
them have
paint
to
all
agree?
10 of them, and they all need to be painted, it's gonna look like an eyesore sticking out like a sore thumb.
I totally agree with you, I'm just
So,
wondering what
The board will make, when we get to that point, the board will make the decision, do you wanna do electrostatic paint, do you wanna do brush and roll? And then we'll get bids for it, and then we'll tell the homeowners, we're going to, on such and such a date, have everything trimmed out the way, here's your path.
Cause I spent $500
Oh, I agree,
to get
electrostatic
mine.
is phenomenal for view fencing.
Cause the sun's,
Yep.
okay, and
So how do you wanna do the budget so we can get it done?
Yep.
What do you think?
we need to concentrate on this, all
Okay, so
this stuff.
take the 5,000, the 1,000.
No more
put it in the
Halloween parties.
No, we already
Okay.
talked about, it's been
Okay.
several years. So take the 5,000 and take the 1,000, which is on the bottom, take 6,000, put it in reserve, and start focusing on this, right?
Correct, all the issues that we have.
Don't put it in reserve,
Where
those
do you
are all
want it?
repair
So you
items.
want 'em in-
Common area maintenance.
Okay, so we'll do that, correct?
Yeah, that's
Alright.
fine.
All the
All right.
common area
And
maintenance.
all the
Okay,
10
so
feet back and.
Is there anything else on your list?
As far
As
as.
that.
Oh, the budget goes?
Mhm.
Okay, well, landscaping, they do a great job, it looks good,
Mm-hmm.
but we can't, our subcontract, we gotta get bids on.
Okay, so I brought something for you.
What do you
So-
mean by, you mean like the wash, cleanup, stuff like
Yeah,
that?
the subcontracting. we
But
need-
not
Anything above-
planting.
Above and beyond the scope of the regular maintenance, is what
Right.
you're talking about.
Except for items like planting. You don't want another company coming in to plant, because then your maintenance company's responsible for the
Correct.
water for those plants, and you get into a finger pointing situation, well, they didn't plant them right, they didn't water it right.
That's no problem, I don't
Yeah,
have,
other
you
than
know,
planting,
but we have 6 backflow valves,
uh-huh,
and whatever backflow valves we don't need, we should cap, because there's been water running in the reserve, and I think Todd has, address
Well, we don't
that.
just cap them, we have the city remove the meters
Right.
and shut it off.
Well, and then we save the,
Todd, can you
Then we
speak
don't
to
know.
this?
Can you address
He's
that
done
issue?
some research
Yeah.
on this.
Most of you know me, I'm Todd Houston, I live in the community, I also do a landscape. I'm very adamant on the water, that's one of our biggest expenses for all of us as a community. There are 9 meters, there are 9 meters out there, 1 backflow is gone, 4 are shut off, and only 4 are in use. 3 on Shaughnessy, 1 on Chandler, that's the only water we use. If we have the city pull meters out, it'll cost us thousands of dollars to replace those meters if someday we need them for a park or whatever. We pay $31 a month for that meter, that's it,
So
just
they're
a
locked
service
up.
fee. No, they're not, we
No,
can't lock them.
that's something action
We
Right.
submitted a
Right.
proposal,
Get 'em locked.
we can't lock them because they're not lockable.
Yeah.
We have to put a new pad, sometimes the cages we can weld to put some ring to get them
I
lockable.
understand.
But we shut the water off in the NOS a long time ago. If
Yeah.
somebody can go in and just flip a gate valve, it's on.
Right.
And we're not
So
there
we need to
today.
secure that, so
So
they
we need to
can-
secure it.
Yeah, so that's
So-
what that one item is on
yeah,
there.
$3,100.
Should
Yeah, there's
you
only-
secure all of them, so somebody will stop turning them on?
We did not get no bids. One, this is,
Can we get to that when we
Yeah,
get to that in
sure,
the
sure.
agenda
No
and just
problem.
focus on the budget?
Okay,
So
so we
you
good with
want-
the budget then?
well, yeah, if we don't continue spending the way we've spent.
No, but we have to have your approval anyway.
Yes, yes, there's, well, let's see, constantly over budget, $10,000, common area, let's see what that says there. Tree trimming removal, it's 10,000 budgeted, so that's subcontracting. We have to monitor that, I mean, and
We
no
can
offense to
absolutely
you,
get you
Todd,
three
it's
bids.
just something we have to monitor. The landscape contract, we need bids on that. We need to have bids.
And that's no problem, ISS
Yes.
can rebid it, we
Okay,
can get
I'll take-
additional bids.
Yes,
Okay, hang-
absolutely.
Hang on. Okay, so before we had ISS, we had Fullage Landscaping, so we had them for many years, which the landscaping looked horrible.
Mhm.
This is their contract that they had sent back, it's dated 2007, March of 30. I circled the amount that they wanted to charge us, and then you can compare what.
Sure, that was in, what, 2007?
And
Well,
we're at 2016 now.
they wanted
No,
4,200 per
we
month.
paid
So now look at what
We're
Todd
at
charges.
4,000.
So
for
Todd's
that.
actually in the last, so we're in 2016.
That's
He's
great.
way below what we used to
And
pay.
Todd has said, if he's
And it may come
competitive,
in
you
at
don't
that.
have a problem.
As I've also said, when it comes to extras and cleanups, I wanna keep our fees down, I don't wanna
Sure.
raise our HOA fees. Hi, Linda, how are you? I'm willing to cut prices when I have lower waged guys on site, I will charge a lesser rate, which is what I've done, and I've proved it to Mike and Paul, I think, in the past. So, it's the benefit of ISS to keep the community fees down, because I live there, I don't want my fees to go up.
Plus, if you notice, I mean, Todd's there, I know he's constantly driving
Every
it every
day.
day. I mean, if a tree's blown down and it needs to be removed, that tree's gone
Okay,
within
and
a
then-
day or two.
Then onward to the $3.92 in legal fees. That's what we had here.
$3.
Increase assessments of 5 with $1.08 of the increase added to the general fund. And $3.92 budgeted for legal fees.
That's what went into the $17.70 per month. That does, if you don't spend it for that, when you get later in the year, you've got that money in the budget. The
Well-
line item doesn't matter,
I
it's
would
the
like,
bottom
I would
line.
like to see that separated, exact counting of that money.
What do you
for,
mean?
$3.92 should go, I know it should be put in there to address, here's the number we have for legal fees, cause as we all know, we got a battle coming. With ADOT, we got a battle coming, cause
That's not necessarily true.
well,
Some people have a battle coming.
well, the whole problem was, is Mr. Brazelton, I have his letters here.
Hang on, let's do the budget.
Okay,
just
let's
do
go to the budget.
Sorry.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a sec, but let's just do the budget.
Okay.
$2,312.80 a month, so we would have to take part away from your common area maintenance to make the monthly contribution to legal general $2,312 each month.
All I can say is, as long as this stuff's getting taken care of, then I'm fine with it.
So can we
This
leave the
community-
legal
Can we leave legal?
line item as it is, because if you don't
It's a
spend that
budget,
much,
if we don't spend it, it's still
Well-
there.
it's still there.
It's still
yeah,
there.
I know, but it's hidden underneath be, with everything, it should be transparent.
What's hidden,
Well,
Randy?
I know, but it's in the budget, and I'd just like to know how watch it grow. Watch that grow to see what our legal fees is. Watch our other budgets grow of anything else that grows, and we can watch it and put it on the webpage. So we can see what our money's going for. We need to see what our money is going for.
Well, the financials are on the webpage on what's spent every month. With your
Well,
February
we-
financial,
Yep.
there will be a month-to-date and a year-to-date variance for
Okay,
each month
that's
moving
fine.
forward. So if we're really out of line on common area maintenance, say we have another big storm and there's a bunch of erosion that we have to fix again, and so the common area maintenance or the landscape other gets really out of line, then maybe we won't be able to do as much tree trimming.
Correct.
Each month, we have to look at how we stand overall on the budget to know how we can move forward. The
I-
bottom dollar of the budget.
I understand. I totally understand. We need to watch our spending, that's all.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say.
And we need to watch it each month.
Yes, we do. We need to keep a monitor on it and.
So are we good with this?
Yeah, we're fine. As
Okay.
long as, I'll go on the record, as long as all these issues are
Yes,
taken care of
I agree.
within a year.
No, this would be
Won't
under
take
the
that
year.
long.
Yeah.
No, that's
Give us a
too long.
couple of months
Give
to
me a
get
couple
through the
months, let's
issues
get this,
we've got right
let's
now.
just get it
And
done.
all the tree trimming behind and the view fencing and all that, and we need to get on,
And those are reserved.
yeah,
Okay.
for our
Fence
community.
reserve.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay, good.
We're all in agreement. on
Okay,
it.
We do
thank
it.
you.
I
That's-
motion to approve.
Yes, second, third.
Is
fourth.
there any comments from the floor?
Oh,
on the
sorry,
budget?
sorry.
No, you didn't
Okay.
vote yet. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am, Mark Protect, I'm off of Redwood Lane. Mr. Houston, I can't tell you how many times I work out of my home and my office overlooks the reservation. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen your truck go by due to monitoring and what have you, only to continue to move about their business.
Can we, this
Yes,
is for
well,
comments on the budget.
Absolutely, that's fine, but what I'm trying to get at is, with regards to the amount of money that we're spending on cleanup and everything, listen, I've been here for 13 years, and whether it was a company beforehand, and I'm certainly not pointing fingers, it's just a consistency. And all I would like to see as a community, as a homeowner, is for all this bitching to stop, and let's all get together and freaking do it right. Because the bottom line is, I drive down Ray, I drive down Chandler, and I'm in awe at the communities. I go up the hill, I'm in awe. Why in the hell can't we do it down the hill? That's all I gotta say. Enough is enough.
Thank you.
May I see the photos?
On the budget,
Oh, just while we're talking.
The folks, you sure you weren't
there he
going to
is.
pass it around.
Any other comments on the budget itself? Okay, now you can call all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's okay.
Would you sign this, please?
Can I have a red pen? Sorry, I don't see the blue.
What she's signing is the budget resolution, so I can get it all finalized in our system.
Okay, so the next one is selection of association attorney.
Legal counsel, you guys have been represented on general legal by Ekmark and Ekmark for a long time. I've seen records going way back. Ekmark and Ekmark, as of March 1st, is no more. Curtis closed the doors. Lynn Krupnick was his partner at Ekmark and Ekmark. She and Adrian Spies have opened their own firm. That's why she gave us a representation letter, and I also would like to have you guys stay with her. Curtis is going to Carpenter Hazelwood, another good law firm, but Curtis hasn't been the attorney that you've worked with in the past. So if we can stay with the attorney you've worked with, I also, when we get to the other business, we need to talk about the recall, because you need the attorney's assistance on the recall as well.
Okay. So, motion to approve her?
Well, no, I wanna put this in to ask questions, cause, you know, that's fine, and I understand you know her, and that's great, but I would like to get 2 more people and ask them questions and see what their answers are to our questions concerning things, their duty, the management, what is your fiduciary, how do you interpret ARS? I mean, there's a lot of things that I would like to meet
Okay, well, they're,
with her and discuss, and 2 other attorneys that somebody might know a good HOA attorney, cause that's what we need, a good HOA attorney. And, you know, there's a lot of issues.
You do have a lot of issues. She's
Yep.
been working with your community for quite some time.
Well, we had Brazelton.
No, he's
No.
he's with ADOT.
He's the ADOT
ADOT
issue
issue.
only.
Only.
Yeah, he's with the ADOT issue only.
She
Okay.
This
works
is general
with
legal counsel
Ekmark
for
and
the
Ekmark.
association.
Yeah.
But
She
I
was
would
a
like
part
to
of it.
see, I would like to see us expand, maybe somebody has a firm, a lawyer firm, and have the people come and sit down with the lawyers, introduce them, and get a general consensus. I
Okay,
mean,
so then how would you work it with we are on a deadline for the recall petition?
I think
What
she,
attorney would you like to represent you on
I think what we could do is if she would do it on an hourly basis and give
that?
her.
Well, that's what this is.
It's
Yeah.
just an hourly, we're not hiring her for.
She's not a
She's
retainer.
not-
She's not on
No,
retainer?
No retainer.
No retainer.
Okay, that's fine then, if she's
And if
no
you decide
retainer.
you wanna not use her in the future, or for a specific thing, or if you wanna go to a different attorney for collections, the board can do that. She's just gonna act as legal counsel, and right now, we need a legal counsel that knows what they're doing.
Sure, on HOA.
Okay.
Absolutely the truth. All right, I agree.
A motion
Okay.
to approve, Catherine?
Second it.
You gotta speak up. She can't hear you at the other end of the table. Any comments from the floor? Yes, ma'am?
Are her billing rates the same as the previous attorney?
Probably pretty close. I don't know exactly what Carpenter Hazelwood is, or what Ekmark and Ekmark is.
Make sure her hourly billing rates is the
It's not out of line with other
It's
attorneys.
425, don't quote me on that.
No.
325.
325, okay.
I think it was 320.
Yeah, it's $3.25 an hour for Lynn Krupnick. Adrienne is $2.75, and it's her firm, not just Lynn.
Correct.
And then if a paralegal's working on it, it's $100 an hour, and if a
There you
clerical
go.
person's working on it, it's $50 an hour. Those are in line with what Ekmark and Ekmark is charging, and Carpenter Hazelwood charges, while Fotheringham is very similar to that. Charlie Maxwell, I believe, is very similar to that. I mean, we work with every firm in town. We manage over 500 communities, by the way.
Okay. So we motioned him. We're good?
Any other comments? Now you're all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll just sign this one so I can tell her that the board did agree, and I can have her start working on this recall.
Okay, so the monthly meeting schedule. I'm gonna defer to you on that, Randy.
The monthly meeting schedule, I
Yeah.
would like to see it every month
Okay.
at a convenient time. Now, this is out of the norm here.
Right.
I would like to see it, the library for $25 from 6 to 8, they have a room that we can go to. And have a meeting between 6 PM and 8 PM. And if the monthly meetings fall on a holiday, it's obviously the next preceding day. Or if they fall on a weekend, it's the next preceding day.
Well, we wouldn't want you to pick the 14th of each month, we'd want you to pick the
Let's
third
pick the first
Monday,
Tuesday
the
of
fourth
each.
Tuesday, the whatever, so that
That's
the
fine.
date is this, day
Date
of the
is
month is the same.
The regular meetings. So it's-
First Tuesday of each month, 6 o'clock.
Yep.
So-
At the well, we'll have to coordinate it with the library, so we can reserve that
And
spot.
we'll also have to coordinate it with the new manager to make sure she doesn't have another meeting that night.
So it's the first Tuesday of every month.
Is
Sure.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday better for you guys?
If
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Well, Monday,
It
there's a
doesn't
lot
matter
of
to me.
holidays,
It's
things
6
like that.
Right.
6 o'clock is, fine for me, that's,
Okay, so Tuesday,
First Tuesday of
the
every month.
boss wants me to stay later, I quit.
first Tuesday of every month.
Yeah.
We won't have your financial yet, so you'll be a full month behind on your financial review. If we were to do the third Tuesday of every month,
That'd be better.
or the third Wednesday, depending on what Karen's schedule's
Whatever
gonna
works
be.
out, just as long as it's.
Then we'd have the current monthly
Then we'd have-
financial.
Okay, one more
review.
time, tell me again, the third,
The
what?
third
Wednesday
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday.
of every month?
Thursday's fine.
So let us get with the library. Are you looking at your calendar, Karen?
Just trying to see if it's the holidays too.
I don't really
The
matter.
only month that's gonna be a real issue is Thanksgiving, no, that's Tuesdays, not
Unless I'm
Thursdays.
going hunting, you ain't gonna,
And there
see me.
is, by the way, nothing wrong with during December, the board saying, you know, we're gonna skip the meeting this month because of the holidays. There is nothing wrong with that.
There's no holidays on the third.
We'll get
Okay.
back to doing business monthly, and
Right.
then we won't, that's.
And you won't, a lot of boards meet monthly, a lot of documents require it, a lot of boards take the month of July off, or the month of August off, and the month of December off, due to holiday schedules, vacations, stuff like that, so it's up to you guys what you wanna do. But I do agree that we need to have a monthly meeting for your docs.
Okay,
So third Tuesday
Well, Thursday.
or Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Thursday's more conducive to people in the business community.
Which
that
is?
do work travel.
The what?
What day?
Thursday. People that go out of town on work and stuff, both of them try and get back by Thursday afternoon. I'm just saying, you know, you'll have more people attend if it's later in the week.
Consultants, for instance, fly back on Thursdays.
Yes.
So how about if we check with the library and find out what's available? And
Very
that's the
good.
day we go with, Tuesday,
Very
Wednesday, or
good. They-
Thursday.
Always the
Well-
third week though?
Always the third week.
If
Okay.
they don't have Thursday, I'll kick in a little extra money for Thursdays.
So you prefer Thursdays?
Absolutely.
If not Thursdays, then it's probably gonna end up being Tuesday. Wednesday's a big church night, by the way.
True.
That's fine. Dave was telling me he always has a meeting the third Thursday of every month, but I can always come if she needs me.
Thank you.
So, do we need to do anything to motion that or no?
Uh-huh,
Motion to third week, depending on the day.
right. At Cesar Chavez? Is that the library? What's the library?
Albert.
Mustang, anything.
Ironwood?
Ironwood.
Ironwood? Sorry.
On
You going?
Thursdays.
I'm up on baseline.
When people fly in, they should be able to attend.
Ironwood Library.
Thursdays would be great.
Okay. Motion to approve?
Approved on Thursdays, yes.
Second.
No other comments, right?
On meetings?
From the floor?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed, good job. 6 to 8, by the way.
6 to 8, correct.
Okay.
So the landscape proposals, is there anything that really needs to be done right now?
the backflow cages, correct?
The backflow cages should be locked, yes, I would think. They haven't been able to be because they're just not, that's how it was installed years ago, we didn't do the install.
So you're gonna pour a form and concrete with that eye bolt in it,
Some have
with a
concrete.
rebar tied to the eye bolt so they can't jerk the eye
Yes,
bolt out?
there'd be a lock, a padlock or a combination lock on them, yeah.
And we should have access, the board members, to the combinations.
AAM will
Does,
have
okay.
access and we'll have access, they
Right.
can do whatever they want.
Yes.
Like, we had another company go out to do the backflow inspections because
Right.
you have to have a certified company, so we had
Right.
Arizona's best. do it.
There was one out there yesterday.
Yeah,
You do
How
that
many
manually.
is there need to be done?
I would say, you have, if the backflow's there, you've gotta have it inspected annually. There's only 4 in use. I would say only the 4, we can cut the other ones back, cut them off.
Yep.
But we gotta, I wouldn't remove the water meters though. There's
I wouldn't remove the
thousands of
backflows
dollars to
either.
replace them. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't remove the backflows either.
No, I wouldn't either, in case they're gonna be needed someday, if you do something in the NEOS or.
Well, and if the meter's there, you've still gotta have the backflow on it. So you
Right.
can't remove them as
Absolutely.
long as the meter's there.
There's one meter out there, Pam, that doesn't have a backflow on it, it's up at Sunrise, up in the mid.
Was it just for hydro seed?
It was NEOS
Germination?
areas, I believe. It
I'll
was
bet
probably
after
wrong.
construction, they used it as a temporary.
Yeah.
Okay, so hang on, Todd, so the ones that are not in use, those still need to be caged, correct? So nobody
Yes.
turns them on, correct?
All 8
Because
of
they're
them
all
caged.
shut off at this point, right?
Right.
Okay.
There's one that's sitting along Redwood by the mailbox that is gonna be ripped out eventually, but that's caged, it's not locked.
Okay,
You can't lock it.
okay.
But yeah, that's
So
one.
this bid for $2,052 is for only the ones in the master, not the ones in A1, A2.
Doesn't give a total, I didn't do
It
the.
says
I don't
It
do
says
the
six.
proposal.
It
Says
says
six.
6 of them.
Yeah, I don't do the proposals, the field does, so I wish I could answer that, I can find that.
Okay, if the board will approve
Caging them,
contingent on it only being the 4 in the master
okay,
and the price reflecting 4,
Instead of 6.
then I can have this corrected, or you can have it corrected and send it over to me.
And I do think where we have the backflows that are not being used and there's a cage on them, we need to secure them because somebody will steal them.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Somebody will steal
They
them.
still steal them when they're caged?
Yeah. They just pull the cages.
They gotta make some noise to get into it, hopefully a neighbor sees it.
We had 52 stolen in Coolidge one time in one community, 52 backflows that were caged.
Well, I think I'd start putting cameras, motion cameras there.
Okay, so you want a motion to do that? Let's cage them.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, again, back off of Redwood, I think there's, I don't know what you refer to as that backflow cage, or I'm assuming it's something to protect.
The end of the cul-de-sac by the mailbox, I believe.
But what I'm concerned about is we do have trees that are in the common area, if you will, or even in preserve, that are getting water. I see that constantly because I'm right there up against the trail, and I mean, you can see the drip lines on these trees, and they are getting consistent water.
On Redwood?
The trail at the end of Redwood, the trail that's right there where the bridge is,
It should be off.
no, I'm telling you, they're on.
That are west of the path?
It's just west of my house, directly west. My house is the last house there.
Right.
And I mean, even on the side of my house, right on the other side of my house.
Do you know what
Some
time they
of these
come on,
trees-
roughly? Do you see that in the morning or at night when you see those come on?
You know what, I'm not out there, you know what, I would say probably morning, afternoon that I'm seeing this. But it is definitely going
How
on.
about if Todd gets some flags?
I mean, next time I see it, I'll
Flags.
take a picture.
I'll
Right.
check it out. It's the end of the trail on.
No, so in other words, you know where Redwood is, the bridge right there?
Flag 'em.
Right.
Okay, as soon as you cross over the bridge where my house is,
Okay.
there's, that land between my house and the trail, right in there, and then on the other side of the trail by the pavilion. Those guys, there's water being fed back.
I'll have it.
Maybe you give them some flags or something, if you happen to see it, just
I'll
plant
have
some
to do that, 'cause
flags
that's a
out there.
mosquito issue, I mean, everybody gets mosquitoes, but I had to believe that that's what's going on, is there's water. from
That's
those
important to
trees.
lock in the backflow cages, because somebody could turn them on. We turn them off one day and some kid wants to go and turn backflow or gave off and it's on.
Are they south or north of the bridge going under by your house?
South.
South, yeah. Between that and the Port Cocheur?
I would, yeah, the cabana.
Ramada there?
Yep.
I don't wanna get off track here, but I think we have an issue of airplanes coming over our property that can be addressed by the board, because now they're turning into our property. And when they take off at 5,000 feet, when they put the jets to it, we get all the
What's
noise.
funny is I just saw an article on that they
Yeah.
switched the flight pattern,
Right.
but they didn't inform
Can I be-
anybody.
Can I be
Sure.
recognized?
Yes.
Yes, Galen Schleem, home member on Winsong. I had tried to address the issue, and I tried to bring it up on the agenda with Chris. I wrote Chris 6 emails. I wrote him something about the property. He wrote me right back. I wrote him about something about when's the next meeting. I've been talking to our council member, Sal DeCiccio.
I think he's the one that wrote the article on that just recently. Was that true? Did he just write that they switched the flight pattern and then that didn't notify
That Sal
anybody?
did, yeah, so I've got a little evidence here.
Mhm.
I don't know if I wanna take up your time, but if right after the meeting, I'd like to give you some handouts. But
Okay.
I've done a lot of research on this.
Okay,
I contracted with the city.
Okay.
I've got access to the aviation people that maybe, and information, maybe not everybody does.
Okay.
But they're doing to us a frog in the water thing, when they're starting cold with the frog in there, and you turn on the heat, water starts boiling, frog never realizes it, never jumps out. So I can show you over the last year how they've been encroaching and increasing air traffic.
I really. think-
After next gen. This is after the 2004 next gen reorganization, they're still moving the lines over us. And we are not, I'm telling you, there's, on the 13th coming up here, there are legal proceedings going on. I can show you what the judge has ordered the city of Phoenix and the FAA to be in. And if our neighborhood's not in one of those next two documents, they're gonna set the flight paths during this arbitration, and they're not gonna change during our lifetime, because that's the battle that Phoenix and FAA are having. So whatever comes out of this, so they're trying to change the southbound flight path, right, which takes almost everything east.
right.
In the evenings, the airport runs from east to west. Everything that's going to Texas and Florida and New York goes right over us right now. But they keep increasing it because the historic districts are suing the heck out of everybody. And so they're trying to lower the traffic. And so to kind of ameliorate that, they're sending it over us. And you'll see that last summer we had a really nice summer. And this summer we're gonna be sitting out trying to enjoy our evenings, and it's gonna be.
Was it traditionally, would they go west further and then hook around,
You know,
and now they're starting to cut over South
I've
Mountain?
got screenshots and times, and right after the meeting, I'd like to give
Okay.
each of you the information I got. And I've also got the schedule, the legal schedule that's going
Right.
on. I talked to Sal, I've been talking to his chief of staff, okay, the guy's name's Craig Doyle.
That's
Right.
Craig, yeah.
He wanted to work with us, but the thing was, he said, when's your next association meeting? And so that's why I wrote Chris, I'm like, time is of the essence. I'm the only person who's officially filed a complaint with his office. He's like, because if you look at Sal's area, none of his area is affected, it's just us. And if we don't make some noise and make him make this a cause, then
Right.
when
So
all
can you
this stuff
explain to
happens.
us with what we need to do to?
Yes, there are things that we can do starting right now.
If
Yeah.
you can email this to me,
Okay.
we can put it on the community website.
Right.
And I'm sure that people who have Facebook would be happy to put it on Facebook as well.
And I've also got something that's kind of like an idea type mailer that we could do. Cause I was gonna go out and I was just putting them on people's doors. I got through 50 and I'm like, I can't do this all myself, right?
If it's a one page, we could include it with the meeting notice and ballot that we have to send out.
I think we put it on the table and I'm all for it to do it.
That certainly impacts the quality of
Yes.
life in your
Talk about
community.
property values
Yeah.
and everything that's
What
going
kind
on.
of timing do we need regarding your
Well, I'll show you
information?
right after the meeting, there's something coming up on the 13th that I really think we should be a part of.
March?
Yes, and here's the deal, if I could be a liaison, if you guys would deputize me, I could be a liaison with you and talk to Sal's office and try to make sure that our neighborhood is getting the representation that it needs.
Absolutely, you got.
I'm there every single day, right next to his office.
The 13th is actually a Sunday. Are you sure that's a day?
Say we
I'll give you,
follow
right after the meeting, I'll come to you with the schedule.
I
I'll give it
think
to
we
you.
could make him the liaison if he will
Does
take
Sal
care
need
of the
something
problem.
like from the board saying you are
Yeah.
acting on behalf of the board, something like that?
They need three things. They need official endorsement from us,
Yes.
right? They need hundreds of complaints right to their office from our residents, different households they
Can
count.
we do that by petition?
Yes, and they need every single person to download, now there used to be 5 or 6 different ways to do it. The most convenient way now is you go to the Sky Harbor website, and where you can do the flight tracking, where you'll watch them just come over our house all night long, every day, right? You go there and there's an app to download. Everyone downloads this app. When you hear it every single night, everyone in the community needs to be pressing a button. All you gotta do is press the button and it sends a complaint. And they're tracking
Is
that.
there
They're
anyone
looking
else
for
who'd
noise.
like to have work with you on this in the community that you know of?
Anybody. Anybody.
Who would
Anybody
like to
here,
take up this
anybody.
challenge? You could appoint
Oh,
a committee, an
I
ad
will,
hoc
yep,
committee.
yep, I'm more.
Randy would do it.
Yep.
So,
Cause it's gonna come down here because they ordered them to arbitration because the FAA won't give an inch to the city
Right.
of Phoenix. They're like, you're powerless. The historic district is getting everything. I saw in aviation, the guy let me see it, can't ever mention his name, but he's like, here, if the arbiter decides that they go with the second path that they're looking at, it does change things, all the way on the other side of South Mountain, and they have to go farther past South Mountain and kind of not go over the, municipal park like they're doing now. But then that new line comes right back over our property again, and we're right back in the soup, so.
so if the board would like to move to appoint an ad hoc committee to deal with the flight schedule,
I'm sorry, I didn't get your
And-
first name, I'm so sorry.
Galen, Galen.
Caitlin.
I approve.
Yeah.
you
Motion.
move to appoint an ad hoc committee of Randy and Galen.
And-
Second.
And we need to
To
send a
coordinate.
letter right now to, Sal to say this, our
It's funny, he
community.
just did that too.
We need to, as a community, as a board people,
Yeah.
send them a letter.
And the chief of staff, Craig, he's a nice guy, and he said, it'd be really great if all those homeowners down there saw, him as the person who, not so many words, as saved them from noise pollution and things like that. So I think he has a vested interest too in making sure that we
It's
end up
great.
happy.
Right.
Okay.
Great.
Can I
Anybody
get-
else
can I get your last
interested
name?
in
I'm sorry.
fighting this
Can I
fight?
get your last name?
Schleim, SCH.
I think I just got the
LIEM as in Mary.
motivator right here. He's gonna take it and run.
Okay.
Okay,
He's-
within the
Yeah,
next,
Endorsement and work with people, and
Okay.
I can make some things happen.
by the end of next week, I have to send a notice out for a meeting, a special membership meeting with a ballot because of the recall petitions that went around.
Okay.
I need what you guys want to include in that, a one-page information thing, but next
Okay.
week is the 13th, so.
Right.
If you can get me something sooner, we can include it on the website, and if you tell all of your neighbors to register on this website, then we can email blast. That's the
Okay.
whole purpose of getting people to register on there, not just so you can look at your accounts, but
Right.
so we can email blast.
And even I know we're talking about mailers, and, but on my dime, I know that, I'm sure I can donate to my own homeowner association, I can pay for them, I just don't have the resources to get them to everybody.
Pay for it. We can insert it with the mailing we're already doing, and that'll go out
Yeah.
next week.
It'll go out.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, did you guys say all in favor?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Okay.
Yes.
If I can jump in real quick.
Go ahead.
We do have the recall petitions. I stopped verifying at 102, and there are probably 3 or 4 more names that I could go into research with deeds and verify, but 102, all you needed was 100. per petition. So there were a lot of people who are not owners of the home who signed. Their signatures did not count. The home was owned by the husband or the wife as sole and separate property, but not both, and the wife might have signed or the husband might have signed. So those were discounted. There were a whole lot that had 2 residents at the property signing on different pages of the petition. But when I checked them in on the voter sign-in sheet, I of course caught that those were the same address, and then I would look at them both, and sure enough. So of the 147 signatures, a minimum of 102, maximum of 106 are valid signatures without verifying actual signatures. So we have to move forward, which means the board needs to notice and have a special meeting of the members for the sole purpose, only purpose of recalling a board member or 2. So do you want to do that? It's gotta be within 30 days of my receiving it, so the 3rd, we can have a special meeting right before the regular board meeting in April. And we would be within the 30 days to hold it at that point, and that way we wouldn't have to get another room.
Okay, so do it when? Tell me one more time.
The third meeting of, the 3rd week of
So we'll
April.
do it, what,
So
an
the
hour
night-
early or
Right,
half hour
we'd
early
start it
something?
half an hour early, and honestly,
On the 21st?
whatever night we
Okay,
end up having
I
the
mean-
board meeting, we do
Okay.
it half an hour before the regular board meeting.
Okay,
People in an HOA by statute have to be able to vote in person or by absentee ballot. Proxies aren't any good anymore when you're homeowner control. So it's very doubtful that very many people are gonna attend that recall meeting. They're gonna send in their ballot. That's all they have to do. In the mailing that goes out, I recommend that the board members being recalled write a statement to include. And we also include the statement that was at the top of the petition. That way both sides are heard and people can vote by ballot. And then they can come to the meeting and vote in person, but that's all it is. Here's your ballot, vote, there's no other discussion, and we'll give the results.
And I got a question.
Sure.
On the mailing, are we gonna send it to a postmaster's general address? So then when we decide to pick up the ballots, we, as a community, anybody can come and observe the collection of the ballots from the postmaster
No.
general? No?
They will be mailed here. This is the official address.
Yeah.
We do not open the ballots. We log them in because when you get your envelope, I don't have an envelope.
Well, last
pretend-
time we had election,
This
they
is-
were all open.
I can't speak to that,
Yeah, I
we
know.
weren't there. We don't open the ballots. It will have on the return address your account number in our system. So once those are opened at the meeting, we'll call for counters that are not related to anyone on the board. We'll call for counters, we'll open the ballots there,
Okay,
and those counters will count them.
okay,
So we've done this for a really long time.
super, I wanna have transparency, so
It's
nobody's
absolutely, we will not open
saying
them in
anything
advance.
different, this is what it's gonna be.
Yep.
And, it's, nothing can be open.
Yep.
Just for instance, when I was elected 4 months ago, he had the envelopes open and I'm going.
Yeah, no, we won't open the envelopes.
You can't do that.
I do have a question. When we do an election, we generally send a postage prepaid envelope so that
Sure.
more people return their ballots. Does the board want to go to the expense of doing the prepaid postage on this return envelope or just the envelope?
I wanna prepay them. I mean, it's 300 and, that way they're going, I don't wanna get involved with it. If they got postage prepaid,
Well,
they can send it in.
And if they don't
300.
care either way, they're not gonna return it
Well,
either way.
I know.
Look how many people vote in elections.
Yeah.
I would, if you two don't mind, because you two are the two that, it was Paula and Michael that had the recall petition submitted. How do you guys feel? Should we, raise your hand, should we send postage prepaid on the envelope?
I say yes.
yeah.
Okay. Majority? You all right?
Yep.
All right.
We're good.
You okay? Okay. All right, so we'll schedule it for that week. We'll be within our 30 days.
So we're gonna bypass planting for now, correct, Mike?
Correct.
Randy? Yes?
Absolutely.
And then
And
we
the
do have a
cleanup,
we
'cause
have a
wanna
cleanup
get more
on there.
bids.
Yeah, and I walked down on our preserve too, and yours, obviously, and I think get bids, I mean, clean up the garbage, you know, kids, that's their playground down there. It's unfortunate that we don't have a playground for kids wherever, somewhere else where they can play. But that, my granddaughter plays down there, and I worry about the wolves, the coyotes, you know, and
Snakes.
javelinas,
Snakes.
snakes.
They're out in force already.
You know, yeah, it's just something that I wanna put on the agendas down the road.
So,
We-
We'll table it for tonight
Yeah,
though,
sure,
right?
yeah.
for the cleanup,
Yeah.
so you wanna get a
To get
bid
additional
for
bids.
all the cleanup, so the 10 feet from the walls, and then include also the area of this cleanup too that we already have a bid for, correct?
Yeah,
So
we
take it
could,
one big one?
we could also ask for a community effort to get together and go walk down the preserves to save us some money.
Do you think they would cut it?
I think we can drive down there when we have the cleanups on the preserves. I think we can drive the vehicle, who's ever doing it, we should have an access where they can get down. I think the lumber they cut should be left in piles, the logs, so people that wanna burn their wood or have little fires, they can go collect it. The brush and stuff obviously grind up, but I think we can have them drive in there, so that should cost some expense of carrying it all. Just drive, we can find ways to get into the preserve, you know,
So like a community outreach that we would do it together?
do it together or get a bid on it, you know, go
Well,
ahead.
we can get you 3 bids for it, and then you guys can put together a community.
What kind of liability would you have with that type of stuff though?
I would have a little bit of concern over that, especially with the rattlesnakes and the hazards. What happens if they're doing a community cleanup and somebody gets bit by a rattlesnake, and that's,
Big hospital bill.
yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
severe damage, so.
I agree 100%, because myself, I don't mind going back up at this time of year. I really skeptical about going on the other side, that's just how thick it is.
Yeah.
But honestly, in my humble opinion, when I look at everything that we have listed here, the planting, I know we're gonna table that and everything, that cleanup should be priority number 1, and I'll say that over the mailboxes. Listen, I'm all about aesthetics and curbside appeal, but as dry as it is already, and as thick as that brush is, that has got to be a priority, because I look at a flame come on the side of my house, and I'm gonna be engulfed.
Yep.
We'll prioritize getting those bids as quickly
Yeah, I
as
think-
possible. The board does still have the option of approving something by unanimous consent outside a meeting, if we can get unanimous consent.
For doing that right now?
For if I get bids, and we get the bids out to you,
They
somebody
can be
can
approved.
move to take this one, and the other, all 3 of you, or all 5, or however many board members you have at some point, have to all agree in writing via email.
I'm all for that.
That's
right.
called a unanimous consent for an action outside a meeting, rather than wait until the end of
Yeah.
April to do the cleanup.
I'm all for that, I approve it.
Okay, we'll prioritize getting the bids for that cleanup.
Well, they got.
I may need your help on that.
I think that the $6,000 bid you got, that's not for every area.
Oh, I know it isn't,
There's a
it's just for
lot more than just
conscious.
for the one area.
Yeah, we took pictures of it again, went and revisit.
I would guess it's gonna be in the $20,000 to $30,000 range, because there's a lot of.
Yeah,
homes out there that
it's-
need done too.
And can I make another comment? The board can, by resolution, do a loan from reserves to pay for something that is important. And then we can move something else and make payments back,
Absolutely.
maybe starting next year, increase the reserve contribution to pay it back.
If you look at that cottonwood.
But you need
where
to do it by
I
resolution.
Took pictures of it, if that caught a fire there, those houses would be gone. I just walked it, when the
That's a
homeowner
safety issue, I
complained
think
to
we
me.
can justify that.
3 months.
Yeah, I went and talked to him, and then I said, we're gonna work on it,
Yeah.
and it's a priority. The
Okay.
brickwork can't be more than 4 or 5
That's
thousand.
minor stuff, I don't think it'll be that much.
Finding the bricks.
Except for the
If-
crushed one.
If everybody in the community
yeah,
will find
replacing.
bricks and put them somewhere to give to our whoever, or bring them to my house, I'll stack them up.
Well, they're
So-
probably faux bricks, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah, they're not real, they're faux bricks.
Well, yeah, but they're laying all over. If anybody's walking, please pick them up, because kids travel with them,
Yeah.
and they can make
Okay.
them fit. I'm all for that, prioritising getting
Okay.
that fire done.
I
Just-
just have a comment.
Sure.
So it was, I'm totally for it, we should definitely clean up behind our homes there and allow fire access, absolutely. I do have a problem with leaving any of that material in place, we can't do that, I mean, you
I
wanna
agree.
talk about a fire hazard, and then, a
Or the
part
kids
of
go back and have a
Corrales
bonfire in the
or
desert.
children come, no, we
Yeah.
can't leave it in
That's,
place.
that's fine.
I mean, I totally understand that there are some people that burn wood, perhaps we notify the community, here, here it
Yeah,
is.
sure.
It's free for your taking, and then
Sure,
it stays there for
absolutely.
X amount of days or
I
whatever.
totally agree.
Okay,
That's a
good,
good idea.
good.
I totally agree.
Thank you, cause that was, I worried.
Good point, good point.
Well, if it gets too big,
Right.
back home, we used to have bonfires, but I understand. But, I mean, we would go, hey, this stack's getting too big,
Okay.
nobody's taking it, let's contract you guys, get a loader in there, drive a loader on that preserve, I don't care. And, I don't want anybody riding their motorcycles through there, but if we want to clean up, it can be better and cost effective if they don't have to drag. I spent $300 cleaning the back of my few fence. I spent $400 painting the fence.
Okay. We don't have on this agenda open session. Did you have something
Yeah.
regarding
Yes,
this?
I'm fairly new to the neighborhood. We've been in our house for just over a year. And to be quite honest, I've lived in one other house with a homeowners association. I've also lived in Club West. We had a rental house for 6 months before moving to where we live. I'm Adrian Barbridge, by the way. I live on Coleman Street. And to be quite honest, if I didn't know there was a homeowners association involved in our neighborhood, I wouldn't even know there was one, because I see trucks all over just parked on the street. I see, these RV vehicles forever, people who have moved or waiting to move, their thing is stuck on the side of the street in a very dangerous way. I've lived in homeowners association neighborhoods where this is forbidden, and people are keeping track. I mean, in the rental house, we let our grass go brown because we didn't know that. I mean, I didn't live in
Well,
Arizona
part of the
before.
difference there is they have a full-time on-site manager at
Well,
Club
aren't we
West.
paying for that? What are we paying for?
You're paying for portfolio management. We're only on property once a week. They're
Well-
full-time on the property. They're there all day long, 5 days a week. They have a full staff at that
And what
community.
makes that possible for them and not for
Because it's
us?
so much bigger. Club
much
West
bigger.
is a huge community. It's a master plan. You guys are portfolio. Yeah, they pay a whole lot more too. But you're right, there are a lot of things, and we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get with the board on enforcement. We do inspections, but it's during regular business hours. That's another option the board would have, is a nighttime parking service under that miscellaneous contract. That we could have a security company go out and do twice a month inspections for vehicles parked the way they're not supposed to be per the CCNRs, stuff like that. But again, we need to get all our ducks in a row on what we've got to deal with right now, which is pretty intensive.
And what about the homeowners association and this wonderful highway that's apparently going to be built next summer? How does that affect the HOA, just out of curiosity?
Well, I can answer that. I can
Boy, did
really
you
answer
open the
that.
can of
I
worms.
mean,
Yeah,
I did.
yeah.
I've heard about this thing going on for 20 years. It's crazy.
I've been here for 5 years. My wife dragged me down
And
there.
thank you for saying you've heard about it for 20 years, because I've been
Well,
here
I know, I
27 and they've been
know.
talking about it for
I just heard it's been
27
going on
years.
for 20
Yeah.
years.
It was a Pecos Road that they had established in the archives. It wasn't this massive mega highway. Now, I can say it's all in legal battles now.
Yes.
Our biggest issue is making ADOT pay assessments, fines for the homes they destroyed without any, just basically told us we're buying the homes, we don't do eminent domain, and we're gonna tear them down, and we're gonna stop paying you HOA dues, because we're no longer a member of your community. Yes, and that is basically what they said to us, and we are at front. I got some letters that I tried to get sent, which one lawyer declined, Brazelton, about the assessment of the homes, which is 10.5 million for their assess. Whether the freeway goes in or not, I have no decision on that. I can't, but there's assessments as us as HOA owners and in our CCNRs that specifically state legal action as homeowners. Granted, we're taking on a giant, the state of Arizona. I mean, there's, that's a giant. So we don't know. It's in legal court right now. The park has got it in legal court, and it's in the judge's hands here.
Yeah.
And once we win, or the state wins, whoever wins, there's gonna be a motion to go to 9th District Court, the federal court in San Francisco. So we're kind of out of the ball, as far as what we can do with the freeway, but what we can do for our homeowners, if you do something wrong at your home, we'll address you with a fine. If you don't pay
Well, you
them.
get a notice first.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We don't just send fines.
Then
right now.
eventually we can assess your property. So that is where we're at with that issue, yes.
I've said a lot, I promise this will be it for me, but I have two things. One, has there ever, we just raised our dues, correct?
Yeah,
For
$5.
2016. Was that a board vote?
Yes.
Okay. Listen, as a homeowner, I mean, like I said, I'm one of the first houses down there. I'm not opposed to even increasing it higher, and I say that because the people who are in it for the long haul and enjoy where they live and keep up with their house, they're certainly willing to pay an extra $10 or $15 a month to get to where you folks are on top of the hill. I think if you send out some type of letter or vote of some sort, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised, at least with the homeowners, that, yeah, I'm willing, if I see this, if I'm willing to pay $15 or $20 more a month, I mean, that's a drop in the bucket when you look at our mortgage payments and everything else. But again, it's all about the curb appeal. That, and then the enforcement, I have to agree with this nice lady. I mean, listen, these cars parked, you know, in reverse in front of their house, and, you know, a banana color house, and, I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, I agree. I do wanna say, if a car is parked going the wrong direction on the street, that is a police issue. And you may call the Phoenix Police Department. It will be at the very bottom of their priority list, because they have, you know, shootings and robberies and all that kind of stuff to take care of. We can send a letter of violation if you send a complaint form, which you can get on the website. If the person receiving the violation requests in writing by certified mail the name of the person or persons observing the violation, we have to give your name. That is state law, not our law. It's not our rule, that's state law. So we can do it. We don't have night inspections right now. At some point the board may elect to, but if you have somebody that's parking the wrong direction on the street all the time, or if we see flat tires on cars, we send inoperable vehicle violations. But if it's parking on the sidewalk, parking the wrong direction, inoperable vehicles, they'll also address. Expired tags, they'll address because they can't be driven. RVs, I think the city has a code also, and we can get code compliance, and it's probably 48 or 72 hours, 72 hours maybe, that an RV can sit there on a public street for loading and unloading purposes. HOA, we would want to be reasonable, and I'm sure your board would. If somebody's going camping for the weekend and they bring their RV in Thursday night and they're leaving Friday, I'm not upset about them being there overnight. When they're there for a week, that's a problem.
How often do you guys do inspections? Just the once
We
a
do
week?
weekly, we're on property weekly.
It's my understanding
also
also
that-
that. Someone sitting there that was Monday.
No, he's grandfather, he comes and goes, he's good.
This gentleman.
It's my understanding that the Mountainside or the Vistas, the three communities to the south are public streets, and street parking is allowed.
You guys are
because
public
they're
streets
public
too.
streets.
Mhm.
No, I'm
It
sorry.
depends.
The Sunlight and Sunrise are private streets, and so you can
On the gated
enforce-
area
yes.
are, yes, private, but the master is public streets.
That's
But the
correct.
CCNRs
Says otherwise.
say, the CCNRs fall under contract law. So if your CCNRs specifically say owners and residents shall park in the garage or driveway and shall not park on the street, then you cannot park on the street. And we can send you violations and we can send you fines for doing that, regardless of whether they're public streets or not, because it falls under contract law.
Is ours that way now?
I'd have to
Down the
read your
hill.
documents, I couldn't tell you.
Down the hill it
Below
is.
the gates?
Yeah.
We got cars parking all.
No, I know, you have
But if
cars.
the CCNR says they can't, then I say bring it on.
No, it is stated in the CCNR that it's either gotta be in the garage or in the driveway.
Now,
Yeah,
the problem is, if it has these little comments in there that say, other than overflow parking,
For
you
holidays
know,
or what have you.
or if they're guests, how do we know if they're guests? We can't run plates. So all we can do, and let me tell you, those of you that are here are not gonna be the rule breakers, right? All we can do is send violations to the address the vehicle's parked in front of. So people get really smart really fast and they start parking in front of their neighbor's house. So the neighbor gets the violation. it helps to have the security company for $100 an inspection come out and do it, 2, even 4 times a month. But they're gonna catch on real quick. The violators are gonna catch on, so.
For the homeowners that live down
And
there
this
that
is-
want to do that, do they report that to you?
They have to fill out the complaint form and send it in to the manager, Karen. And then she'll do a violation for it.
I myself, I'll give you my phone number, and if you wanna walk up to the door and knock on it, I'd say.
No,
We can't.
we don't want you to do that. We
No,
don't
I'm
want
just
you-
trying to be compliant, I'm just saying.
Oh,
we-
give
we got-
your number for them to come talk to you.
Yes,
Oh.
give my number.
And honestly, Randy, stop doing that.
I'm
That's
trying
what
to
you
be
hired a
neighborly, so,
management
yeah.
company for. You can be neighborly when we put together a potluck social or a vendor-sponsored social for you guys, and not spending association funds on it, cause we can do that. We can get you some kind of party. We've got a DJ that's phenomenal. Movie in the park, something that we can get sponsored for you guys for a social. You be neighborly that way. Let us deal with the violations. That's what you hired us for.
Is there anything
Okay,
else?
anything else the board wants to bring up? Cause we've already
Yeah.
kind
Is there
of,
any
we've got a lot done.
Color palettes. I noticed we've had, since I've been here for 5 years, we need to get everything so people aren't calling. And granted, we painted some wrong houses, people didn't know.
There you go.
And this is the color reserve scheme. This is what we need to put on the webpage.
It's on there.
It says, okay,
I've
super
given it out to
duper,
people.
because I don't wanna deal with something like that. These are the colors, deal with it. If you don't, I'm sorry, but we painted, there's some houses that are painted very, not good, not good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is
I can
there a-
tell you from experience that people need to go down to Henworth and get paint checks. We painted our house and it did not come out looking like the schemes that you guys presented.
And the problem is the
Not
paint
happy with
companies
it, but
change the
it's
color names.
Pardon?
They change the color names. If you don't have the actual formulas, you're never gonna get the color that it says it is. Now, the color formulas are on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to,
What-
it did not come out like that at all.
Would I recommend
We're
we,
okay with it, but we're not thrilled with our colors.
what I'd recommend when you do that, if we could put it on the webpage, hey folks, here's the color schemes, come have your painter, just put it on your house, a little square, you're gonna paint it, so whatever. So then you can watch it dry and go, wow, this isn't, my daughter had her house painted, came home, and it was the wrong color.
Yeah.
She freaked out, and it was $500 and they changed
We
it.
put the chips up and it matched and it just did not look the same.
Yep.
But
Well, it's not faded and it's not dirty from storms, so it will look a lot different. And those little chips,
Well, we popped because nobody else has painted around it.
exactly.
So everybody else is this beigey color and we're like, almost looks green and it's not.
You're not blending in then.
Yes, sir.
Do we have an architectural review committee or is that the board?
I believe it's the board.
Support right now. Yeah.
So if somebody has a house and they wanna paint it one of the 15 colors different from what they have, does that need to go through the board or do they just have to match?
They
that?
submit an
They need to
architectural
submit.
review form and then we approve it.
And I told the lady here, Todd, that please, if it's on the architectural colors, please okay it. You have my okay. If that's I don't wanna be bothered with that nonsense. That should be taken care of long ago. Here it is. Well, I'm calling you to tell you I don't like it. Well, I'm sorry. Then you're gonna have to move. It's just as simple as that.
Okay, I definitely agree
Well,
with that.
that's right. Now, if somebody wants to paint their house a different color than what's in there, as long as they get approval from the architectural committee, there should be no problem.
It's only these or the existing?
Those are the existing.
No, these or the existing, what they have, so they can either paint it the same color they have it right now, or they can pick from this palette.
We were denied to be able to paint the same color that our house was. We were told no.
When was
Have to
that?
go- We just painted within the last 6 months.
Okay, but before AAM got it, thank
Yeah,
you.
we were not happy. We had already painted that.
We didn't do that.
A few years ago.
We didn't do
We
that.
had to go paint the whole house over because we were
Yeah.
told no.
Well, as a new board, I apologize for that, but there's our colors.
Yeah.
And I've also, when I came on, because the problem, I said, maybe we'll have to repaint those people's houses because of our fiduciary responsibility. We did not meet as,
Well,
setting the colors.
We'll see.
We've had this book
Yeah.
since
I know.
2013, so.
If you would send me those books.
I have
on
the
the
website.
website.
dear.
I have
a PDF.
Yeah.
The PDF's on the
Yeah.
website.
I'm a different generation in website.
We're gonna bring you into the website.
No, you're not, please. I don't wanna go there. Call me, please call me.
The other thing is, you know, 2 or 3 months down the road, maybe the board could appoint an architectural committee.
Okay.
Maybe the board could appoint a landscape committee, so that we get more homeowners involved. But right now, I gotta get through this next 30 days, so I'm asking people to be patient,
Cut the
so.
bushes behind the trees, fire hazard.
Yeah, well, that we're gonna work on right away, we're
Yeah.
gonna get bids for that.
In the mailbox.
Any other business the board wants to bring up?
Mailboxes and the columns, all the columns, and all the neighborhood has to be
Yeah.
walked around.
Do we have anybody that wants to make comments on the floor first? No?
We
I have the
didn't have
photos
an
back?
open comment on here.
Yeah.
Pass back that, please.
Any further? You
The
wanna-
photos.
Anybody,
Look at
wait a
them.
minute.
There, we got copies.
Anybody, we didn't put it on the
Okay.
agenda, but does anybody on the floor wanna make any other kind of open comment? Yes, sir.
So just to add to the conversation we were just having, so sarcasm alert, right? Like rust isn't a part of the palette, right?
No, do you wanna see the book?
Rust, grime, and horribleness. No, what I'm saying is
Sarcastic.
Oh,
I-
I'm sorry.
I was transparent about that.
Okay. You were
Yeah, so
Slow.
I came into the community like about a year ago, and my house was painted before I came in this, but I'm looking at all these other houses I'm passing, and I did see them when I chose to live here, but it looks like they've been really grungy and nasty, for a heck of a lot longer than a year, let's say, something like that. You can't make them repaint, but can you make
Yes,
them
we can.
power wash, or what do
We
we?
can make them repaint.
At what point?
It's been years and years though, obviously, with a
When-
lot of these houses.
Right.
Like,
And
where you go by
we
Randy's
agree.
house, that's beautiful, nice new paint,
I
right?
wouldn't
The
say
house
that,
three-
my house needs paint.
I live in
Compared to the one
Maricopa.
3 up, Randy, come on.
I live in
Right.
No, I
Maricopa, we
agree.
have 3,000 homes in my community, and they are taking one section at a time and sending letters. Okay, it's been 12 years, it's been 14 years,
time.
paint your house.
Okay.
I agree,
Yeah.
you can see the stucco through the paint that's coming through, the gray stucco.
Absolutely,
Well, and they
yeah. And then where they have the iron,
The
on the
last
little
time,
Juliet.
the other company, Cliff, we had them sending out letters to people saying, hey, you know, same thing. It's been
Right.
10 years, 12 years, it's time to
Yeah.
paint, your house is looking a little beat up. And I think Chris had done that.
Chris had started, I believe.
Started a list as well.
But again, we'll get full-blown into all
There's
this.
so much
but give
going
me a
on, but
month.
yeah.
And I gotta say myself, folks, the backboards, Chris brought that up, the basketball courts. I know they're an eyesore, and I know they're not part of our CCNRs, but I'm appealing to our kids. They have nowhere else to go. They have no park, they have nothing, so I cannot say I would enforce that. I will not, because.
Well, there's
they're
different
kids.
rules
I
that we
know.
could put into effect, that the basketball goal has to be on the front yard side of the driveway, halfway up, left in a stationary position.
With what?
Unless the documents prohibit it. If they say no basketball courts in the front yard at all, then that's a problem, and it may at some point,
They could have a mobile one.
Me
like
too,
a lot of
right.
them do. They
Yeah,
have a
right.
mobile.
Yeah.
And they can
So
have them in
anyway,
the street.
uh,
They can have them in the street, I was.
I
told.
don't
No,
have.
they
the-
City
can-
of- Yes, they can. I had an officer come down,
Okay.
and he said, as long as it's not blocking the walkway.
The
It's at
sidewalk.
the end of a cul-de-sac, as long as it's not blocking the sidewalk or a path, or
Yeah.
a pedestrian is.
but that again falls under how your documents read, regardless of what the city says.
But if you're not gonna enforce it, then that's great, because I mean, the kids do
Yeah.
have to have a place to go.
Yeah, so I wanna bring up one piece of new business that I have to ask the board, and it's kinda hard for me to bring this up, but I have spent 14 hours on this recall so far. Our contract, this is out of the norm for our contract specifies $100 an hour for special projects. I am not asking you for $1,400. I am going to ask you that we be allowed to bill the association an additional $500, which will include the extra meeting. I won't bill you any more for that. Because it specifies in our contract, recall, special membership meetings are not part of our regular monthly contract price. So I'm not asking you for anywhere near what I have put into this, but I am gonna ask if I can bill the association $500 for this extra work.
I think it should be up to the two being recalled, that's that. If they vote yes, then that's up to them. I'm not gonna voice my.
Why would it be up to
Yeah,
us?
why would
No,
it be
it's
up to
not
us?
up.
Well, I just think, cause you're being recalled, so, you
You're the
know,
one that started it.
well, huh?
You have to pay
It's,
for it.
it's an
A
association
member started
expense.
it, so that's all, I'll leave it at that. I
And
have
it's
not-
based on the contract, and I'm really giving you
I'm
a
fine
big
with it.
discount.
A second.
I'm fine with it. And, I'll take you out to a steak dinner.
You don't need to take me out for anything. Do any of you have a comment before the board votes on this issue, because you are here and you have a right to make a comment? Wow. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, any other, you've tried to say something, did you get a chance to say what you were gonna say?
I'm good now.
Okay. Any other new business?
I'd like to make a motion to nominate a new board member, Reg Parker.
I second it.
I disagree, because according to our CCNRs, it's, new business increasing board members. I will show you what the statutes are and what the bylaws are in our bylaws. The statute says Arizona Arizona.
Okay, it's all right.
Yeah, I don't mind. Arizona statute says that you can do that, but if the bylaw says different, which the bylaws specifically do, they say different. And both of you have agreed that you wanted to wait till August. And I wouldn't have no problem having an election, folks. That I would not have a problem with, the election of our members. So that's what I'll leave it at. I can leave your, the bylaws, the declaration, what they say, and everything, so.
This is, Randy, you just made the case that the association board can, because this says the members, if any, may fill the vacancy. Or it says the board of directors may fill the vacancy in the event of a vacancy resulting from an increase in the number of directors. It says either the members may fill it or the board may fill it. It also says under your Foothills bylaws, you've just given this to me. It says in the event of death, resignation, or removal of a director, his successor shall be selected by the remaining members of the board.
Right, and there
shall
hasn't been a
serve for
death.
the unexpired term of his
There hasn't been a
predecessor.
death, there's 3 of us on the board, there hasn't been a death, there hasn't been a resignation, and there hasn't the other.
Right.
That hasn't taken place.
I agree with you there.
If I died, then more power to you.
But
can
you
appoint.
also have minimum 3, maximum 5 members in your
If
documents that you can have.
I'll strongly object to this, the only way I'll accept this is a vote.
And
That's a
an
vote of the
actual
people.
vote of the members would be done at the annual meeting,
And
because it
that's-
would just be filled to the annual meeting.
They are saying right here, if this person dies, resigns, or the third one. That is the 3 stipulations to have an appointment. If somebody steps down, like the last person stepped down, then they can appoint, but nobody stepped down as a 3
They
board.
can appoint,
If one of the 3
they can
criteria.
appoint the 2 vacancies.
Well,
Did you vote unanimous?
They can appoint
Yes.
any vacancies, and they can appoint to increase the number of the board to the next election, then the members have to vote.
Dieter, you wanna comment?
No, that's fine. At the next election, that's fine.
Yeah, the next election, they can,
But what I'm saying is he's motioned and she's seconded to appoint a member to the
and
board.
I disagree.
And they have the right to do that as the majority of the board, and then that position is elected at the next,
Yeah,
at
that's
the
fine.
next annual meeting.
Yeah.
This person only serves
Oh,
from
no, no.
March to
Till
August.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, and I'll be talking to whatever her name is that you gave us.
Yeah, Lynn Krupnik, I do
Yeah.
not believe will speak with you because you're not a board member.
I'll just send her something to tickle the gray matter.
And she's actually given me that already, that's
I
why I
think
said
we
you can
should
do
table
it.
it, but, I strongly disagree. I'm all for an election.
I have a
Anybody else
question.
wanna make a comment? Yes.
I just have a question. The idea of increasing it to 5, does that need to be a unanimous decision
No, majority
increase it?
because we are at a meeting.
to increase it?
No, majority of the board because we are at a meeting.
And I would like to say there is 3 subdivisions down below, there's 400 houses there, and there's 2 subdivisions up above. So, you take it whatever you want, there's 400 homes down below, and there's 3 subdivisions, and there's 2 subdivisions up there. We do not have equal representation from the bottom of the 3 people that should be on. There's 400 to 200, that's.
The lady in the back's been trying to talk first, Dave.
What happened to the possible candidates that submitted their names when you presented it a couple weeks ago? You said notice is out that you're gonna have 2 people, you need to submit a bio. What happened to those?
He's one of the people that submitted a bio.
Was it your only one?
So
No,
I
he's
submitted
one
a
of
bio
the
too.
No, there was about
You did.
14.
I sure did. And
I was like, that's how I was looking at your name, I'm like, why
I think
is
like
that
Yeah,
21.
so I'd like to know what consideration, because I've got a pretty strong resume.
I did,
Business
I
degree,
submitted Reg because.
Fortune 500 companies, major public
I remember
organizations.
your bio, it was
Okay.
very impressive. Reg, he's been a project manager, graduated Syracuse, Cornell, works for Motorola, GE, in managerial positions. He's been on a board since 1999, in every position, including president for the past 10 years. So I thought he was gonna be it.
That's pretty good. I would mention, like I did mention too in the application, a little bit more diversity for the neighborhoods and some
Sure.
representation would be
Sure.
a good idea.
Absolutely.
Dave was next and then you.
No, that pretty much answered the question.
Okay.
Is there a possibility to table this until after we see if there's a recall, one? If not, put the names of the individuals with their bios out and do a special election?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's another large expense.
I would rather do the large expense than that way everybody gets their vote. How much is the expense? What is it? You want the postage? What's the postage? I'll pay the postage. I don't care.
Sir?
Agreed.
The gentleman that you endorsed, is he on top of the hill?
Reg lives in Sunrise.
Yeah, see, we need to have representation down below.
We're all one. We are all one
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
I agree with all one. I think it needs to be a vote, though. I think it should be a vote. I don't care, if everybody votes. Everybody needs if you're gonna separate everything and you're not doing it by a vote, then there's an issue. You may as well have your own association down the hill and the, other people have their own association up the hill. And that's how that should work. But if you're one association, it should be done by a vote.
I agree.
And I mean, just because somebody lives up the hill,
Yeah.
doesn't mean they're not gonna represent the people down there.
But see, we've not had that opportunity to
Well,
vote as a community in the past.
And
But
that's
you-
what
but
I
that's-
think
no,
has
that's
to
not-
happen.
That's
No,
not
that's
true.
not
We
true.
have a general election
That's not
every year.
true.
Right.
That is not
Way
true.
early in the,
Okay,
in
so,
the early years.
okay,
yes,
so
you're right.
Every year.
obviously I've been on the board since the beginning of time, so, I've always been on it. So during the time that I was on there, I was on the master, then I was A1, A2, and then for a period of time I was on both, then I was back just to A1, A2, and then back on the master. I wasn't going to be on the master anymore, just because of the fact that, you can hear the rippling effect of, I live on one side, they live on the other, so I was like, okay, it's fine. So during that time, there was, Tom Wolf, Jim Wesley, and Jeff Ball. Jeff Ball lived in, Sunrise, the 2 other guys, lived.
Mountain View.
Yeah, exactly. So what happened is that on A1, A2 side, I said, hey, guys, we're gonna paint the little stucco thing or whatever, a darker color, and try and, do you guys remember, it was those green color things? You guys remember the green things that were on there? I'm like, they're kind of dated, green's kind of out, we want to paint the signs and kind of do something. So Jim Wesley says we don't want to spend the money or whatever, so I said, well, ours are going to look different than yours if you don't do yours. We're going to paint this portion, we're going to do this, we're going to paint the metal, we're going to do that. We don't want to do it. Okay, so we as A1, A2 on that board took the expense to have those signs redone. So then, I said, okay, so, no, A1, A2 paid for it. So then I said, okay, so our front entrances are decrepit, old, nasty, whatever. So I said, A1, A2 wants to do something, the master didn't want to do anything. And I said, okay, our signs are looking amazing, now we're gonna light them. Can we light them? And he's like, if you guys wanna light them, we don't care. Okay, great, let's gonna light them up. So then before long, it was like this whole process, so it's to get them to do. They didn't wanna do anything. So then I was like, when the election came back around, I don't know, a year or 2 years later, I don't really remember, I was like, okay, this is killing me. On the right side, it's looking fantastic. On the left side, it's not looking so great. So then I said, so when the position came open, I said, you know what, I'm gonna go back onto the master, because the north side of the street needs to look like the south side of the street. And right now, it's not looking that way. And all those old nasty bushes, and there was no rocks down there, and there's like big clumps of this and that and whatever. And in the meantime, there's other issues, the annexing into the school. I mean, I can go through a whole list of things that needed to happen. There was no buses for the high school kids. You guys were not annexed into the Kyrene School District. They were wanting it to be punched through to go to Levine. That wasn't gonna happen. So all these issues are going on. No help from that side, none. No help from Calabrea, no help from anybody. So I said, you know what's coming up? Forget it, I'm going back onto the board. I don't really need that kind of responsibility, I'm busy. I don't need that extra stress on me. So as soon as we did that, it was like, okay, fine. So still there were some other people because of the way that the staggering of the community. So I would approach and be like, hey, you guys wanna, you know, like, we gotta get something going here. And they're like, you know, we don't really want to, whatever. So then another position came open, and to be honest with you, I made the call to Mike. I said, Mike, I need help to get one side of the street to look like the other side of the street, and it's not happening right now. And it looks horrible to drive down Chandler Boulevard. The monument sign is horrible, we're lit up, they're not. Let's get some lights down there, let's make some improvements. Rip all those bushes out, put those dark rocks down in there and stuff. It's gonna cost money, and yes, we're gonna have to paint, okay? So from there, we ended up, you know, obviously we all know that the sign was shot through, what, 800 times with all the cars, launching of the cars and whatever. Lit those things up, you know, work with the City of Phoenix at the end of it. We put boulders down there to stop. We all know the City of Phoenix ripped out the boulders multiple times because they felt like it was a problem. We cleaned that up. We put the signs into each and every one of them. Redid all the plants, took away this, did that. So that that side of the street was mimic south and north side. So I know that a lot of you feel like that we don't think about that side, but we don't want to see it. If I'm driving to my house, I want you guys say your side, my side, it's our side. And that is still part of my community. If your homes don't increase in value, and if the area that you come up doesn't look good, it's not gonna help my side either. So I would like the south side to look exactly like the north side. And it shouldn't be your side, my side. I mean, I drive down there, I see that. And the fact that she said about the parking, I'm all for it. All those cars need to be off the street and up into the driveways. We have people that they go ahead and pour driveways, and their front yard is like a parking lot these days, and all those types of things. But we felt, and Kachina told us this whole time, that we couldn't do anything about the parking down there, that we couldn't do this and we couldn't do that. Besides in the fact, I mean, obviously I'm a little passionate right this moment. The fact is that Kachina, there was a lack of communication from Kachina to us. So many people said, well, we did this, or we did that, or we said this. We don't hear every violation. We don't hear or see. And the reason that Kachina is no longer the management company is because there was no communication between what is said to Kachina and what came to us. We don't know. And then not the December meeting, but the meeting before when Kachina was there, and the way that it was like the whole thing of throw them under the bus, I felt like I was thrown under the bus. Oh, we discussed it with the board. I'm like, are you kidding me? I've never heard anything. And then the board, I'm like, I've never heard this. So we left there that day and was like, we're done. Kachina is not obviously managing the property, and they're not communicating with us. And you know what? It's not working anymore. And so from there, we bid out 3 companies. Obviously, we're here where we are today. So, you know, I don't know. I've lost my train of thought.
If I may address you, Paula, I know I'm complacent, and I like the runway, what I call the runway to look nice, but
What's the runway? Chandler
Just
Boulevard?
down Chandler and
Yeah,
Shaughnessy.
Shaughnessy, I call it the runway, but, that's great, but people that live in the, other communities drive home and they see that, so they're going, hey, but as
But see,
obviously.
what's sad is a lot of this, to be honest with you, these were approached to us, and we told Kachina to take care of those things. So I look at these, and to be honest, it's sickening. To be honest with you, it is sickening.
I'm just saying, you pull, like me, I don't go and drive everybody else's neighborhood. I go and complacent.
It's just that I don't go into the neighborhoods, to be honest with you. I go to work when it's dark, I come home when it's dark.
I
And you know what?
understand that, but-
And when somebody approaches a management company with these, and they say, hey guys, blah, 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 yeah, I mean, it's a responsibility that needs to be taken care of. It's disappointing to look at these, Randy, to be honest with you.
It is, but I think our fiduciary responsibility
I'm gonna cut you
to
off right there.
uphold.
You said fiduciary responsibility a couple times. I would like you to refrain from making legal conclusions. That is a legal term, and I want you to quit making legal conclusions here. And you suggested that the Other board members have breached their fiduciary duty and suggested that the community has been underfunded. You have not provided evidence of that, so I would like you to refrain from making any statement
I
that
have
the board members
provided
have breached
evidence
fiduciary duty without evidence.
the past 5 years.
You need to come forward with evidence if you're gonna make such a legal claim.
And may I ask who you are?
My name is David Degnan.
He represents me.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can show you evidence.
Okay, that's getting
Yeah,
off
okay,
point.
but I would just wanna say, if we could, I think it's clear and transparent, if we have an election, well, there's no reason why we can't put up an election. And anybody can run, and it's a vote of the people.
Okay.
Why is there only one board member? Shouldn't there be two if you're gonna go from three?
There has to be three realistically, no less than three. So if they recall Mike and I'm not really sure what happens at that point, because it doesn't hit to August.
I would ask for an election.
And the remaining board can decide what they wanna do. So,
Yeah.
we're gonna close comments on this at this point. I think everybody's expressed their concerns. There's a motion and a second on the floor. Call, all in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carried. So Reggie is appointed to the board. We'll notify him.
Okay.
And,
Is there one more position also?
they just increased it to 4 at this
Okay.
point.
Why only to 4, why not to 5?
Why can't you go to the 5? We got a guy sitting right here that wants to do it.
Right.
I say, put him on.
And I back him up too, definitely, because he said that thing about the planes flying.
First of all, we gotta ask him.
He's already put his application in.
Yeah, I did. I put in my application, I stated my case, so.
You're
I did claim to be pretty apolitical in all this, and my real issue is I didn't have a healthy HOA to bring my business to, and I looked really stupid, going over there to the CCO office every day, and not being able to say, yes, my, HOA is with me or whatever, but, so that would be my number one issue, but.
I nominate him.
Did you send a letter about, he did?
I motion that we nominate him.
Is there a
Second.
second?
I don't know, I'd like to see what happens.
What happened to the notice that said you're gonna bring 2 more on?
Said 2 more in the notices we got.
You're only stating that you're bringing 1 on, where's the second?
I believe that was shelved when there was a motion to remove 1 to 2 board members. We have 2 things going on here. You can't say, okay, we wanna remove 1 or 2 board members, and then that just leaves 1 dictatorship up there. You can't,
But it
you
didn't
can't
say
do
that in the
that.
notice, it said bring on 2. It said
But
nothing.
that changed because there's now a recall notice.
You can't try to bring on 2 board members, so recall thing, but that's my opinion.
We're done.
I nominate him. I go on the record as nominating him.
I'll second.
Okay, there you go.
Further discussion?
Will you guys stick around though?
Yes.
So I can-
Well, you're on the board now, so.
Well,
you're
you
gonna have to
haven't
vote.
voted yet, so hold on. Further discussion? Will you accept the nomination?
I will, as long as we don't look past this.
Hey, you
Thank
got a
you.
priority.
What do you mean, as long as you don't look past that?
I'm sorry. Yes, yes.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome to the board. If you would, before you leave, give
Yes.
Jessica and Karen all your contact information.
Yes.
5-member board.
Call election time.
Okay, anything else, board members? Yeah, just hang. Anything?
Adjourn?
Second.
Okay.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, police officer, for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, let me go get some, because I didn't grab those.
I know that guy's face from somewhere.